Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Haley. Today's video is going to be a fall makeup tutorial on this look right here. I'm going to be using the Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette, which is one of my favorite eyeshadow palettes of all time. This is something that I would consider a wearable daytime fall winter smoky eye. So if you want to see how to achieve this look step by step, then just keep on watching this video. Look who stopped by. Alright guys, so let's get into this look. The first thing that I'm going to do is focus on my skin. I'm going to start by addressing a couple of the skin concerns that I have. First of all, my large pores in this area and my chin, and also some of the red spots that I have on my cheeks, on my chin, and some redness around my nose. I did exfoliate 2 nights ago, so I don't have a lot of texture to worry about, which is great. So I'm just gonna focus on filling in my pores and covering up some of my redness. I'm gonna go in with the Benefit Porefessional. This is a great product that I've been using for a couple of years now. Does a really good job of filling in the pores. Make sure that you are pressing the primer into the skin instead of rubbing it. This will help the Porefessional really push into those pores and not sit on top of the skin. Once I've taken care of this area right here, I'm going to move on to my chin. Really just press it in there. And if I have anything left over on my fingers, which I do a little bit, I'm just going to put it in between my eyebrows. My next step, the Stila One Step Correct Hydrating, Skin Tone Correcting, and Brightening Primer. This is a great primer. It doesn't necessarily extend the life of my makeup, and I actually think it breaks me out a little bit. So not a great product if you have sensitive skin. This is probably my 4th or 5th bottle. I love it so much. So it breaks my heart that it breaks me out. Breaks my heart. So I'm gonna have to find a new primer that's as good at color correcting as this one. But I'm gonna use it today because I'm almost out, and if you guys have any recommendations of a good color correcting primer that has lots of green in it that will counteract redness, leave a comment down below so that I can check it out. So I just put about that much on my hand, just 1 pump, warm it up between the fingers, and I'm just gonna push it onto my skin. This one I can rub around because it sort of has like a moisturizer consistency. I'm gonna focus it on the cheeks and on the forehead and wherever I have redness. I love this primer because it not only counteracts my redness, but it also has brightening properties in it, which is great for if you're feeling like you are having a dull skin day. Moving on, I am going to do a little bit of concealing underneath my foundation. You can see I have a couple of blemishes, a lot of blemishes that need to be covered up. I'm going to go in with the Nars Soft Matte Complete Concealer. This is in the shade Light 1. I don't really have a good concealer brush, so I'm just gonna use this one. As you can see, I love this concealer. This is my 2nd or 3rd pot of it. I think it's my 2nd, and I'm almost out. I don't use this concealer under my eyes. I just use it on my spots. I'm going to blend that out with the Morphe M439 foundation brush. We are now going to go in with the Fenty Beauty Foundation. This is the Pro Filt'r Soft Matte Longwear Foundation in the shade 150. This is a great foundation, however it is a little bit drying and it does oxidize. So when you if you're interested in purchasing this foundation, I would recommend also purchasing a nice hydrating primer, or make sure you have a great moisturizer to put on underneath it. I'm gonna go in with my beauty blender. Alright, so the foundation is all blended out on my skin. As you can see, super full coverage. I'm gonna move on to concealer. This is the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer in the shade Fair. Freaking love this stuff. It's so good. but it is pretty heavy duty, so I only use like that much. I'm also going to take this down the bridge of the nose super lightly, in between the eyebrows, on the chin, and on my eyelids. Now, to keep the theme of dewy skin that I'm going for, I'm gonna mix in the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer. This is in the shade 15. I've gone through so many tubes of this. This is my favorite summer concealer. It's little to no coverage, but it is super hydrating and looks really, really pretty on the skin. Love to mix it with the Tarte Shape Tape because it just takes away some of the tight feeling that I get under my eyes when I use the Tarte. A little bit on the eyelids, just a little bit, so I don't want my eyeshadow to crease later, and there, and there. Going back in with the trusty beauty blender. Under eyes feel super hydrated, which is great. Now it's time to set this concealer. I'm gonna do a little bit of baking. Going in with the Laura Mercier Loose Translucent Setting Powder. I'm so extra that I use 2 beauty blenders. If you set your makeup with a beauty blender, you will know that when you put the powder on your beauty blender, it gets really gunky and gross really fast. So I just use this beauty blender specifically for cream blush, highlight up here, and I use this side for baking. Also gonna take a little bit on the jawline right here. That's typically the first place where your makeup will wear off during the day, so I'm really gonna go in heavy with the powder down there. This is also a great technique for making your contour stand out a little bit. You can see I don't have any bronzer or anything on right now, but it just creates a natural shadow. I'll let this sit on my face for like 30 seconds because I'm really lazy and don't want to wait. Then we're gonna wipe it off. All right, so we're ready to wipe this bake off. I'm gonna go in with an Hourglass powder to kick off my bake and my Morphe M438 brush. This powder is fantastic. It is ridiculously expensive and you don't need it, but if you are a makeup lover with dry skin, I highly, highly recommend this product. So I'm just gonna tap my brush in just a little bit and I'm gonna use that to kick off my bake on my eyes. It just brings a little bit of life back to my skin. Instead of it being really matte and cakey from that powder, it's gonna be well set, but it's gonna have a nice lifelike sheen to the skin. A bit more, kick off the bake on the other side. Also gonna do the same thing with my chin and down here and in between my eyebrows, but I'm not gonna go in with any more product. So I'm super happy with how my skin is looking. Looks really flawless, not looking super cakey. Little bit cakey up in this area, but we are gonna fix that with some setting spray later on. I'm now gonna go in with the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette. I bought this a while ago, but I don't really use it too often. As you can see, I've hit pan on the middle sort of bronzer shade, but that's about it. The contour brush that I like is this one right here. This is actually the VIB Rouge free gift that you get. I got this a couple years ago. This is a pretty dense brush. I'm gonna go in pretty lightly with my contour because this is such a dense brush, but if you're using something a little bit softer like this one right here that I used for kicking off my bake, I could also use this one, I'm just not going to today. If you're using something like that, you can go in a little bit more heavy-handed with your contour, but I'm just gonna go in with this one today. So I am going in with the lightest shade right here. So just the tiniest amount, like that's a lot. I'm just gonna really tap that off. Just gonna go in ever so lightly right here, and that's it. That's all the contouring I do is just right there. Make sure you always blend your contour upwards, not downwards. If you want to clean up your contour a little bit, you can go back in with your loose powder. I'm going to go in with my brush right here, go back in with that powder and just carve out that contour. Moving on, we are going to use some bronzer to warm up the skin. I'm going to go in with my favorite bronzer of all time, which is the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Bronzer in the shade Diffused Bronze Light. Again, this is a ridiculously expensive product and you don't need it, but it's gorgeous. I bought the sample size because I didn't want to spend, you know, $70 or whatever it is on bronzer. And I went through the sample size. I used it every single day. I hit pan. I scraped the edges to get the rest of the product. Then I thought, I need this bronzer in my life. I need the full size. And I've made a sizable dent in it. So yeah, it's a great bronzer. This bronzer does have a little bit of a sheen to it, which I personally love. I was gonna say especially in the wintertime, but all year round, because in the summer it looks great for like a glowy, summery look, and in the wintertime it helps your skin look less cakey. So it's really good. This is an Arbonne blush brush. I've used it so much that I don't know where the label is. You can't even see what it's called. You can see like a little bit of writing right there, but that's it. I'll just tap that in super lightly, and then I'm gonna go up here. I like to take my bronzer a little bit up higher, and I'll also take it up in my hairline, but only a little bit, not too much. I also take it on my cheeks, but I just like to keep it mostly up in this area right here. I am gonna put a little bit right there, and on the other side, just way back up in the hairline. On the apples of my cheeks slightly, and up in my hairline up here. Good, so you can see instantly I have a little bit more dimension and life in my skin, which is great. Okay, so at this point, I am going to fill in my eyebrows. I'm gonna do this off camera because this part really stresses me out. So I'm gonna go off camera. All right guys, so my eyebrows are on. I'm actually having a decent brow day today. I did use the Anastasia Dipbrow in the shade Taupe. I find that if you just go in super lightly and build it up, that gives the best result. I'm going to set my eyebrows in place with super glue, aka the Anastasia Beverly Hills Clear Brow Gel. This stuff is incredible. It lasts forever, and it lasts like all freaking day long. It's so good. Now for the star of the show. I'm gonna be going in with the Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette. It's got a ton of shades to choose from, and it's really, really affordable for what you get. The shadows like blend super well. There's a ton of different colors. You can make 1,000 looks with this palette, and it's only $49, and that's amazing. Okay, so the first shade I'm going in with is this one right here. I'm gonna go in with my Morphe E27 brush. This is a fantastic blending brush. I actually have 2 of them. These are phenomenal brushes. So I'm just gonna tap into MFEO, tap off the excess, and just blend this into the crease. Gonna go in with the shade Pooter, which is this shade right here. This is a nice pinky shade as well. It's just a couple of tones deeper. And I'm gonna go in with Morphe M441 brush. This is another great blending brush. Tap into that shade, tap off the excess. And I'm just gonna keep this nice and low and focus it on the outer corner. Almost coming onto the lid as well. All right, so now to go in with my more burgundy shades. So I'm gonna go in with this shade right here. So now I'm gonna take a smaller blending brush, the Morphe M433 brush. It's just a little bit smaller. And I'm just gonna focus this on the outer corner, basically on the lid. All right, so that is done. I'm gonna go in with a little bit of a darker shade, just using that same brush. I'm gonna dip into this shade right here. This is a nice, like, I wanna say like a cherry cola kind of vibe that I'm getting from it. It's a nice, cool toned, purpley brown. Again, just really nice and low, almost on the lid, on that outer corner. All right, repeat on the other side. Okay, so that color is now in the crease on the outer corner. Gonna go back in with my transition shades and just continue blending upwards a little bit. Now, I'm gonna go in with a shimmery color on the inner corner into this pretty burgundy shade right here. I'll give you a little swatch so you can see how beautiful and shimmery it is. So I have some MAC goodies that I have been dying to dig into, but I haven't used them at all because I am waiting until I have everything in so I can upload a haul video. But I'm gonna break the rules a tiny bit to go in and use my new MAC brush. So it's brand new. I haven't even taken it out of the package yet. You guys will see this haul very soon. I'm sorry, spoiler alert. This is the MAC 242 brush. I have been dying for this brush for years. I'm gonna dip into that burgundy shade with the MAC 242 brush. I'm going to spray a little bit of Urban Decay All Nighter on it just to get that full metallic effect. I'm so excited. I hope it's everything that I have wanted it to be. Okay, yeah, it's perfect. Okay, I think I've decided that this eyeshadow is a little bit too bright, so we're gonna go in with a more gold shade and see if that will make it a little bit less in your face. Going in with this end shade right here, just pack this on top and see if it helps. Okay, I'm already liking that much better. Didn't wet the brush with setting spray or anything like that just because I wanted the red to peek through a little bit, and I'm really liking how this is looking. All right, it is now time to go in on the lower lash line. So I'm gonna go in with this small pencil brush right here. This is the Morphe E18 brush. Really nice little pencil brush. I love that it's kind of tapered. And we're gonna go in with all of our shades that we used on the top of the eye in reverse. So I'm gonna start with purpley brown shade, and I'm just gonna push that on the outer corner right here, basically on my waterline. Burgundy shade right here, the same brush. I'm gonna drag this down a little bit farther and a little bit closer. Okay, finally, I'm gonna mix the two transition shades that I used on the top and just blend this out underneath and all the way in. Now, this is looking pretty red on the bottom, so I think what I'm gonna do is go back in with that dark brown shade and just make it a little bit less red. And I'm actually gonna go back in with this blending brush right here, and I'm gonna go into my very lightest transition shade, and I'm actually going to use this blending brush to go underneath the eyes, just for sake of adding a little bit more warmth underneath there to match the top of the eye. All right, so that is the eyeshadow completely done. From there, I'm gonna go in with another Morphe E18 brush. Gonna go back into the Jaclyn Hill palette and use the very first shade right here. It's gonna go on the inner corner and on the brow bone. So the eyeshadow is now completely done. It's looking fantastic, super blended. Again, it's coming off a little bit more warm toned on camera than it actually looks, but I'm loving it regardless. So before we finish up with mascara and all of that jazz, I'm gonna go back in and finish up my skin. When I'm doing a smoky eye like this, I like to go in with my blush afterwards to make sure that it matches. This is the Tarte Amazonian Clay blush. I absolutely love this blush. I just don't love that it's matte. I really like my blushes to have a little bit of sheen to them. So I'm gonna go in with my Morphe M432 brush. This is a fan brush. I learned this technique from, I think it was Jaclyn Hill. This is a great technique because we often go in really heavy-handed with our blush, and then it sometimes can be hard to blend out, especially if we're not using a super high quality product. This will help you to sort of control the amount of blush that you're putting on. As a dancer, I'm so used to loading my cheeks up with like super gross colored blush because that's what you need for stage. My first instinct is just to go like super hard with the blush. But the fan brush really helps me control how much I'm putting on, which I love. Perfect, so skin is looking good. The only thing that is left is highlighter. Now, I'm gonna go in with almost like a skin tone sort of highlighter, so not super gold, not super frosty, just something that's a little bit more my skin tone so that I get a glow, but I don't want to add more color to my face. This is the Casey Holmes Spotlight palette from Smashbox. This is in the shade Pearl, and I'm actually gonna mix these two darker shades right here. I'm gonna go in with another Arbonne brush. This is the Precision brush, and I feel like this is actually meant for contouring. This would be a great contour brush, but I just use it for highlight because it packs on the product really well. Just tap into both of those, tap off the excess. This is my favorite highlighting product I've ever used, and I have used a lot of highlighting products, but for some reason this particular palette is just super beautiful, and yeah, I use it every single day. I'm gonna put a little bit above there too. This was my go-to technique in Mexico this summer. I would put highlight on bare skin, which is really bad. I mean, moisturizer and then bare skin. My pores, ugh, they were screaming. But when you're on vacation, you don't really want to do makeup. And just these two colors blended together on my skin just basically made my own skin look like it was glowing. It didn't add any color or any like metallic streak on my skin, which is definitely not what I was going for while I was on vacation. I just take the highlight on my chin, down the bridge of my nose, Cupid's bow above the eyebrows. I'm gonna go in with this Lancome mascara. It's the Monsieur Big. Fantastic mascara. Probably the best one I've ever used in terms of volume and length. Now, some people don't like to do lower lash mascara, but I love it. It just balances out my eyes, makes them look much bigger, more doll-like. Right, so the eyes are totally complete. As you can see, I don't really need false lashes. I thank the good Lord every single day that I have such beautiful long eyelashes. Yay, love myself, self-love, positivity. Okay, now for the final step, setting spray. And I think I'm gonna go in with a neutral lip since I have such bold eyes. The Tarte Matte Lip Paint in the shade Birthday Suit. I'm not a huge fan of the Tarte formula, but I love this color. This is like my go-to nude, peachy nude sort of color. There you go, guys. This is the completed look using the Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette. This is a great smoky eye for daytime, nighttime, whatever you like. If you guys like this video, make sure that you give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Leave a comment down below with more video ideas, other things you'd like me to do. I'm also going to be doing a couple of hauls, some story time videos, which is very highly requested from people that know me in real life. So if you are interested in watching any of those videos, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you are notified when my videos go live. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next video.